ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनच्छलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति सुपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी शुभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे गुरुविशेषण पाश्चात्य देश कम कर्ति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरं। ओम तत्सत्। हरे कृष्ण। थैंक यू ऑल। सो we are discussing today the 13th chapter of the 8th canto. Before we enter into the 13th chapter, the last 7, 8 chapters, all the way from 8.5, I think, all the way up to chapter 12, 7, 8 chapters have been a discussion, a long narration of the various incidents related to the Samudra Manthan pastime. So we have spent many classes relishing the wonderful sweetness of Lord's pastimes in his form as Lord Ajita. Very, very important pastime. And we concluded that saga in the last class with how Lord Shiva was attracted to Mohini Murti, desirous of seeing the Mohini Murti, and how Lord Hari manifested a beautiful form of the Mohini Murti, not comprised of the Mahamaya energy, but rather the Yogamaya energy. And we heard in detail in the words of the Bhagavad how Lord Shiva was totally besides himself, even with his wife Parvati next to him, totally, so to say, lost his senses. That is the power of Maya. And he was bewildered to the point that he was practically paraded through the great sages to whom he usually gives classes on renunciation. But when finally Lord Shiva came to his senses, rather than feeling embarrassed, Lord Shiva exhibited his very exalted character, not so much caring about what others thought about him, but being steeped in wonder and amazement and appreciation of the glories of the Supreme Lord, that what kind of power the Lord's Maya has, that it can even bewilder me. So that shows the substance of the heart of a devotee. A devotee's heart, the calculation is that how the Lord is glorified. I, me, my glories, my reputation is not really a concern as far as I am concerned. Yes, sometimes we have to take care and protect our reputation in the service of the Lord, because we are serving in a particular capacity, so we have to protect our image in the mood of service. But otherwise, a devotee is not so concerned. In the service of the Lord, if the Lord is glorified, the devotee doesn't even matter, doesn't even mind being a bad example, just to glorify the Lord. Another very beautiful example of this is Bhishma Dev, pure devotee of the Lord, but he took the side of the Kauravas in the battle of Kurukshetra just to demonstrate to the world how, even if a person as powerful as him, he whom even Parshuram could not defeat. Just to give an idea, Parshuram could not defeat Bhishma, and that Parshuram easily killed Kartavirya Arjun, who easily defeated Ravana. Just so that you get some perspective of the scale of power and strength. So, Bhishma accepted despite being the best of the Kurus in one sense, the Kuru Shrestha. Shrestha in the sense the eldermost, the most powerful, the most accomplished. Very quietly, he played a role just to suit the pastimes of the Lord, even though up to this time, 99.999% of people think, oh, he should have done like this, he shouldn't have done like that. He says, okay, you learned the lesson, you understood. My whole purpose was you get the lesson. Doesn't mind if, doesn't matter if I look bad. It was never about me being the hero. The hero is Krishna. They're all supporting actors. Huh? Correct? It's like, nowadays there are these songs in Hindi movies. The actor is dancing, the main hero is dancing, and behind him, 10 people are dancing. They're not so, they're just beautifying the scene, but they are not the main character. We don't focus on their dance moves. As long as they don't go out of step, it's all okay. Their step has to be aligned with the step of the hero or the heroine. So the mood of the pure devotees who are free from false ego, whose only focus is the pleasure of the Lord, they are not so concerned. So you see that character in Lord Shiva. This is possible only when we are free from false ego altogether. This level. So that's how we actually can see who is truly pure. The very simple definition of Krishna consciousness is to act for Krishna's benefit. Very simple. Prabhupada would say in very simple words, what is Krishna consciousness? Of course, at one level, it's about consciousness, but how is consciousness seen in our external behavior? It is when we act exclusively for Krishna's benefit without considering our own benefit. Our own benefit in terms of material benefits, our own benefit, physical, mental, reputational. So Lord Shiva displayed this very, very wonderful example. So we concluded it like that. I'm just recapping before we move to this chapter. And one of the very important lessons that we learn from this beautiful pastime is, which I briefly mentioned earlier, and I think it is worth mentioning again, is how Lord Vishnu, even when directly appealed to by the Devatas headed by Brahma, and after directly appearing in front of them, having come to solve their problem, the Lord, I was describing this yesterday, we had a Hindi class, so I went into this topic in great detail. So some of you attended the Hindi class. So I was discussing this point in great detail. And the point is that the Lord, even though He's personally appeared on, can you imagine, on the bank of Shweta Dweep, in front of the Devatas headed by Brahma and the Prince of Brahma, Shiva, and all the Devatas, the who's who of the universe. What would you expect? The Lord appeared, all the greatest of the Devatas, the Lord would say, Tathastu, boom, snap, everything fixed, all the demons wiped out. And they tell, okay, now you go back, you have everything, problem solved. I have magically fixed everything. Did the Lord do that? No. The Lord didn't do that. What did He do? He gave them instructions. He gave them instructions how to fix the problem. The Lord did not fix the problem for them. He said, this is how, this is my plan, but you have to work towards this plan. I will support you and help you. And that the Lord did throughout the whole process. But the Lord expected when the Devatas work to His plan to produce the desired result. Not only that, the Lord said that time is not right. You cannot take on the Asuras directly at this point. They are more powerful. Does it mean that Lord Vishnu couldn't have overpowered the demons? No, that's not what it means. Nobody can overpower the Supreme Lord. But the Lord has set into motion based on the laws of the universe, the laws of karma, which are driven karmana daiva netrena. The wheels of destiny, karma, driven by time, driven by Kala Chakra. Everything has its own proper time. Sometimes devotees become so disturbed, they say, oh, this person is so bad, he's done so much mischief, he has troubled devotees so much, why he's not being punished? This person, this devotee is so nice, oh, he fell sick, he had an accident, oh, why Krishna is not seeing? And they'll go to the deities and say, oh, you can't see this like this like. Justice is always given, but justice is delivered in due course of time. Why? Because so many factors are there, so many ongoing running karmas are there. So everything has to be delivered in a proper way, having taken into consideration the karma, collective karma and the individual karma of all those who are involved in the situation. It's not so easy. You think you can remember in maths, for those who remember algebra, maybe some of you were terrified with algebra. Equations to solve x, y, z, so many complicated equations, or even one variable which is of multiple order, x square minus 5xy minus 25 equal to 0. What is x? So with one variable, it was so difficult. Imagine if there are 1 billion variables. The variable being each individual's person's nature, desire, karma, and they're all interacting with each other out of their own free will. And Krishna has to manage the whole thing through the agency of time. Is that easy? Anyone wants to take over the role of dispensing justice? Extremely, we cannot even imagine. That's why Krishna has to do this job personally. Even though there are demigods who we say, do at a very macro level. Ultimately, sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishta matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. From me comes remembrance, forgetfulness. I am in the heart of everyone. I am giving the right impetus for living entities to act based on their past and present desires and what they deserve according to their karma. And I am impelling them based on their desires and guiding them what to do, how to do. It's not so easy. What to speak of our level, even at the level of the Devatas, Lord Vishnu is saying, Ruko, Ruko, Jara Ruko. Time nahi aaya hai. It's not yet time. Don't be impatient. Have patience. Follow my plan. I have a plan. And in due course, everything will come. Right now, you have to settle with the demons and go along with this plan that I have told you and play along. I will support you. So even without knowing the full details, the Devatas, to their credit, they had faith in the words of the Lord and they worked. But they had to work. And can you imagine through this whole pastime we went through in so many chapters? Was it easy for the Devatas? First, they had to go and negotiate with the very demons whom they have been fighting to seek their help. Do you think that is a small thing to do? So we are so egoistic. Sometimes it's so difficult. Somebody we really hate, to go to them and say, "Oh, can we work together?" It's so that first step itself is such a big thing. That they lifted the Mandar hill only to get crushed. The Lord Vishnu had to help them. Then Vasuki had to be brought. That was another problem. Then the mountain sank under the ocean. Another problem. I'm just summarizing. I hope you remember the details. Urma came, gave support. Then the mountain was wobbly. Lord Ajita came from above, supported it. Then churning, Vasuki was breathing fire and smoke. Problem after problem after problem. Then finally, halahal. Rather than getting better, it just got worse and worse. And can you imagine all this is happening by following the plan of the Lord under his direct instructions, under his direct supervision? He's there next to them. Lord Ajit personally. In fact, he came on the other side when he saw that they were struggling to pull and they didn't have enough strength to churn vigorously. He came on the side of the Devatas, held the tail side himself, and he started applying his own force. Only then the churning became of uh, enough vigorous to actually cause a churning effect. And the halahal poison, then this and that. Oh God, I don't want to go through everything, but why I'm mentioning all this is just so that you get an appreciation of, despite the direct instruction of the Lord, despite his personal presence there, not in one avatar, so many avatars. Kurma, Ajita, Sahasrabahu, Lord Shiva, Ajita himself, later Dhanvantari coming, Lakshmi Devi appearing, still they had to do their part, they had to go through the struggle. So why I'm mentioning all this is, of course, eventually they got the nectar. So what the Lord promised, the Lord ensured that that was delivered. But it wasn't an easy journey. So lesson number one is, the Devatas have to deal with this. We should not have very high expectation that when we pray to Krishna, oh, somehow I am so special. No, all Devatas okay, but Gaur Chandra Das is so special. I will pray and Krishna will snap his finger and all my problems will disappear because I am a very good devotee. So first of all, we should not have wrong expectation. Mercy of the Lord oftentimes comes in the form of instructions. Mercy of the spiritual master and Vaishnavas oftentimes comes in the form of instructions. And the right result is achieved by following the instructions. Mercy is not often in terms of handing the result as a laddu to you in the hand. Take, enjoy, done. Now, is it that the Lord cannot do it? Of course, He can do it. So, lesson number 2 is the Lord has a reason why He does that. And the reason that itself is a big class by itself, but the key reason the Lord dispenses His mercy like that, in apparently tough love. You understand tough love? It's a very common term in English, tough love. Because when we go through the journey of the following of the instruction on the way to the desired outcome, the Lord has planned it so beautifully in terms of all the obstacles that you have to go through and how you have to deal with it, that through that journey, the Lord is not only going to give you that wonderful result at that end, but by taking that journey faithfully and sincerely based on the instructions of the Lord directly or of the Guru, which is also to be understood as the Lord's instruction, or the senior Vaishnavas who are representatives of the Guru, whose instructions should also be considered as Guru's instructions. That struggle, facing of those challenges and difficulties, is the cause of spiritual growth and purification from anarthas for the sadhaka. So there's a reason the Lord designs it like this. It's not that the Lord is thinking, oh, let me enjoy seeing, He's not a sadistic person. Sometimes, the boss enjoys troubling the employees. That struggle. He's just about to go home. I will call him and give him more work. So he sits for another 3 hours in the office. Yes. So that is not the idea of the Lord. So why I'm mentioning all this is because we in our own lives sometimes have unjustified expectations. So if we see Bhagavatam and we see the lives of great souls, and then we see ourselves, then the least we can think is, at least I cannot expect myself to get better than them. So let the Lord, who knows exactly what is good for his devotee, do his part. Our duty is to faithfully follow the instructions that he gives, either directly or indirectly coming through Guru and the Vaishnavas. And we have to be rest assured that all good fortune will come to us when we follow that. Even though it may be a struggle, even though we may fall down 100 times. When I say fall down, I mean, sometimes we may feel materially and spiritually exhausted, emotionally burnt. The Lord makes us go through all these things just to help us grow. That's why Rupa Goswami's instructions come into mind. Utsahat nischayat dhairyat tat karma pravartana. Be enthusiastic to follow the Lord's instruction. Firm determination, nischayat, dhairya, patient. Even just because the Lord has said doesn't mean it will happen tomorrow. Tat karma pravartana. You should have patience, but you should not just be patiently just waiting. Prabhu, when will it happen? Not today. Okay, I'll wait for tomorrow. Tat karma pravartana. You have to keep doing your duty. The instructions which the Lord has given. So for us, as spiritual sadhakas, regularly chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Follow the four regulative principles. Study Gita, Bhagavad, Chaitanya Charitamrita, other scriptures, render service, associate with devotees, serve the Lord and the devotees. Tat karma pravartana. Sangatyagat sato vrute. Avoid the association of materialistic people and take the shelter of great souls. Shadvir bhakti prasiddhiti. If you follow these 6 things, you will grow in bhakti. Don't worry about the struggle. Struggle everybody has to go through. Top to bottom. Nobody has ever gone to the gym, just enjoyed the aircon and the swimming pool and come out with muscles. Just because they paid the gym fees. I spent 1 hour, I walked around, I sat near the pool. I saw some machines. I spoke to the instructor. I spoke to my friends. After 1 hour, I came out. You have to work out. So, a spiritual sadhaka is the member of a spiritual gym, and we have to exert our spiritual muscles against the resistance of material desires, against the resistance of our false ego, against the resistance of our desire for enjoyment, desire for name, fame, recognition, desire for selfish interest. We have to lift that weight, which is very painful for the conditioned soul. Regularly keep doing it. Then our spiritual muscles will develop. Again, I am saying all this so that we have the right perspective. If you don't have the right perspective, if you do not have the right outlook, then sometimes we just become too frustrated or we lose faith. You see in the lives of great devotees, even in the Bhagavad, who are the Bhagavad are the A-listers. A-listers. How many of us will have our name in the Bhagavatam someday, sometime? I don't know. At least not me. A-listers. They are, look at their journey. Look at the journey of Bhishma. Look at the journey of Arjuna, Yudhishthir, Kunti, Draupadi. And I'm just giving a few names. Shukadev, sorry, Parikshit Maharaj. Shukdev was born liberated because he had a different Leela. Practically, so if we go through the struggles of life, keeping faith in the Lord and following our spiritual and material duties properly, definitely we will make very nice spiritual advancement. Tatte kampam susumikshamano janamev atmakritam vipakam. Whatever bad is happening is because of my own misdeeds. But Krishna is giving me only a token just to purify me and make me evolve faster. Ridvag vapuvir vidadam namaste. Rig, Rid, Vag, vapuvir. With heart, with mouth, and with body. Offering obeisances. What does that mean? Not protesting against the Lord, not resisting. Oh Lord, I did so much for you. You did this for me. It's not easy. When one is battered by life, materially or spiritually, to remain grateful to the Lord that, oh Lord, this is all your mercy. Just give me the strength to endure and go ahead. It's not easy. A big struggle. But those who are able to do that, they make the fastest spiritual advancement and are rapidly rushing towards the lotus feet of the Lord to achieve the supreme destination. So I wanted this lesson to be emphasized a bit, because that is one of the very, very powerful lessons which come out from these pastimes. So these pastimes are beautiful, entertaining, but we should not lose sight of what is it that is relevant for us at our level to understand and appreciate. So if we do not learn from the lives of the great souls, these beautiful pages of the Srimad Bhagavatam, then we are missing a very, very wonderful opportunity. If you have unreasonable expectations from the Lord, if you have unreasonable expectations from the pure devotees, the spiritual master, then obviously we are going to end up frustrating ourselves and our spiritual journeys. So that was a wrap up of the Samudra Manthan Leela. Manthan, churning. Samudra Manthan is not just the churning of the milk ocean, but a pastime akin to the churning of the heart. Through the churning, the impurities are slowly removed and sidelined, and eventually the nectar of pure flame will come. And churning is always a process of disturbing. You're not churning to nicely mix. You are churning to isolate, remove impurities and only get the essence out, isn't it? It is a process of removing the unwanted things and leaving the essence as it is. So, currently our heart is being churned by the three modes and continuously disturbed. But when we churn the rod of the instructions of the Lord and the pure devotees, slowly all the anarthas will go and Rima will come. So this is something we don't want to lose sight of. So with this, I want to come to today's chapter. You may be wondering, Prabhu, you already took 33 minutes. How are you going to complete this chapter? Don't worry. With the Lord's blessing, I will definitely complete it today. Because this chapter, which is chapter 12, is actually a very small chapter. This chapter doesn't have any katha. This chapter is a list of the future Manus. It's a listing. Names, 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 names. So we will go through that names because hearing those names is also purifying. So I again want to give you a broader picture of what this 8th canto is about and what we are discussing now. And then we'll go through the specific names which are mentioned here. So the 8th canto is specifically dealing with the topic of the Manvantaras and the Manvantara avatars. So the Shastras say when the Manvantar is the topic, it means it describes the Manvantaras also, and it also describes the Manvantara avatar. So if you remember, started the 8th chapter by the explanation of the Manvantar concept and how the Manvantar is governed. If you remember, how many Manvantaras are there in the day of Brahma? Anybody remembers?
14.
Thank you. Correct. 14 Manvantaras. So there are 1000 Chatur Yugas in the day of Brahma. One Chatur Yuga is Satya, Rita, Dwapar, Kali. Also sometimes known as a Divya Yuga. 71 such Divya Yugas make one Manvantara. And 14 such Manvantaras make a day of Brahma. Actually, day meaning is the day time of Brahma, which means 12 hours. And equivalent 12 hours is his night. That becomes his 24 hours. Like that, Lord Brahma lives for 100 years. Each year of 12 months, each month having 30 days. Our current Brahma is just completed his 50th birthday. He is in the first day after his 50th birthday. I also recently turned 50, but of course I'm not comparing myself to Brahma because his lifetime is too long. Mine is not even it's not even a breath of his. So 14 Manvantaras, and each Manvantara there is a specific. Manvantara is also an administrative term within the universe. Just like in most countries, the government has a 5-term government, and then a new government may come in based on elections or whatever is the process. At the universal level, governments are set up at Manvantara level. The term is one Manvantar, 71 Yuga cycles. Of course, there is no voting, no election. It's all based on qualification. Not qualification of money, but qualification of what merits the living entities have gathered in times of their punyas, yajna, dana, tapa, etc. Various positions have various qualifications, and if they meet the qualifications, then they are given those posts. So broadly within the Manvantara government setup, universal administration setup, there are 6 categories of important positions. What are the 6 categories? Manu himself, the main person of the Manvantara. Second is the Manu Putras, the sons of Manu, because they also play an important role in the administration. The Devatas. Then Indra, who is Indra? Then the 7 sages, Rishayaha, Sapta Rishi. Each Manvantara has a different set of Sapta Rishis. And each of the Sapta Rishi has a particular department to take care of. We're not going to that detail. That's not even listed here directly, but other Puranas explain those things. Then the Manvantara Avatar, who's the Amsha Avatar, who's in charge of the Manvantara. These are the 6 categories. Every Manvantara, these 6 change. So this particular canto is dealing with the various Manvantaras. It lists all the 14 Manvantaras. Up to this point, means up to the end of the previous chapter, chapter 12, we have already discussed these 6 categories of personalities for the first 6 Manvantaras. Why first 6? Because we are currently in the 7th Manvantara. And there are another 7 to go. This is a total 14. Okay, so we are in the 7th. 6 have passed. Another 7 are yet to come in the future. Clear? We are in the 7th. So up to now, the summary of the first 6 has been described by Shukadev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. For example, I'm not going through everything. First Manvantara was Swayambhuva Manvantara. And in that Manvantara, the Manvantara avatar was Lord Kapila and also the personality of Godhead by the name Yajna. Then Swarochisha Manvantara, where the Lord took an incarnation in the form of Vibhu. Then Uttama Manvantara, Uttam is the son of Priyavrat. There the Lord took incarnation as Satyasena. Tamasa Manvantara, where the Lord took the incarnation of Hari. Who is this Hari? This Hari is that personality who saved Gajendra. If you remember, this Gajendra pastime came up as a topic in the 8th canto because as soon as Parikshit Maharaj mentioned, Shukadev Goswami mentioned to Parikshit Maharaj, Hari was the Manvantar incarnation. This Hari saved Gajendra from the crocodile. Tell me more. 5 chapters, 6 chapters discussion. Correct? Swayambhu Manvantar, when he started, he said, Swayambhu Manvantar, about Kapila I've already explained in the previous canto, so I'm not going to replay. You have already heard. Yajna also has been described briefly, so I'm not going to go into those things again. Then he goes into the Gajendra pastime. From 2nd chapter, he goes through a few chapters until the time where he comes to 2, 3, 4. 3 chapters. Then after discussing 4 Manvantaras, from 5th chapter onwards, the Lord starts discussion, Shukadev Goswami starts discussion on the 5th and the 6th Manvantara. 5th Manvantara is Raivata Manvantara. Raivat is the son of Priyavrat. And the Lord appeared in his form as Vaikuntha. If you remember, this is that form of the Lord Manvantara Avatar who created a Vaikuntha planet above Satyaloka for his wife Rama Devi. That's where the Manvantara avatars reside. Then the 6th Manvantara is the Chakshusha Manvantara. It is the Chakshusha Manvantara in which Lord Ajita appeared. The same Lord Ajita who helped perform the Samudra Manthan pastime. And as soon as this was mentioned, Parikshit Maharaj caught it. Tell me more. 8 chapters. Detailed discussion. So that is how the canto is flowing. He's describing briefly the Manvantaras and the Avataras, but Parikshit Maharaj is saying expand, expand, and suddenly so many chapters. Then 2-3 verses mentioning briefly who are the personalities, then suddenly one personality expand into 5 chapters, 6 chapters, 7 chapters, the katha. So in this way, up to the end of the description of the 6th Manvantara, we have covered 2 major pastimes, that of Lord Hari in the form of Gajendra Moksha and Lord Ajita in the form of Samudra Manthan. Because Kardama Muni and Yajna's incarnation has already been discussed earlier. Brief mention of the activities of the other Manvantara incarnations have been done, but no detailed pastimes have been listed. For example, for Lord Vaikuntha, it is briefly mentioned, so he is the one who created a Vaikuntha planet. And so on and so forth, correct, for various incarnations. For example, in the Swarochisha Manvantara, the second Manvantara, the Lord who appeared as Vibhu Brahmachari, what did he do? It's briefly mentioned. He taught the art of self-control and austerities to 88,000 saints. Brief mention. So the activities are briefly mentioned. Certain pastimes are described in detail. I'm mentioning all of this so you get a broader idea of what the 8th canto is and how the flow is. So especially for those who are making an effort to study the 8th canto seriously. Now, having discussed 6 Manvantaras, now the chapter which has come up is 13th chapter, where the title is Description of the Future Manus. So this particular chapter is a very brief chapter. 14. So this chapter is briefly listing this Manvantara and the next 7 Manvantaras in terms of the 6 categories of administrators. Who are the 6 categories? Who was the Manu? Who are the Devatas? Who are the Manuputras? Who is the Indra? Which are the 7 Rishis? Who is the Manvantara Avatar? And what that Manvantara Avatar, what kind of activities he will perform. That's why I am keeping only 15 minutes to go through this chapter, because it is a list. So I'm going to briefly go through this for our purification. So at least we know who are these great personalities, and simply by hearing the names of these great personalities, we will get purified. So first, before going to the future Manvantara, Shukadeva Goswami speaks about the current Manvantara. Which Manvantara are we in? Anyone?
Vaivasvata.
Very good. And anyone knows which Chatur Yuga of the Vaivasvat Manvantar we are in?
28.
Correct. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay.
So we are currently in the Kali Yuga, not even in Kali Yuga proper. We are in the Yuga Sandhya of the Kali Yuga of the 28th Chatur Yuga of the Vaivasvat Manvantara of the first day of Brahma, after Brahma's, in the Brahma's Uparartha life, means the second half of his life, first day of the second half of his life. That is our time scale. Okay. So Vaivasvata, who's this Vaivasvata? He's sometimes also known as, he's known as Vaivasvat because he's the son of Vivasvan. Son of Vivasvan is known as Vaivasvata. Just like Kunti's son is known as Kaunteya. Pandu's sons are known as Pandava. Similarly, Vivasvan's son is known as, Vaivasvata. Vivasvan is the Surya Dev. The real name of this Manu, even though he is commonly known as Vaivasvata Manu, the actual name is Shraddha Deva. I don't know why his name was Shraddha Deva, but interestingly, by the way, tomorrow is Sarva Pitri Amavasya. It is the yearly day, is the last day of the Pitru Paksha. It is the day to perform Shraddha rites for one's ancestors, especially in this fortnight, which ends tomorrow. Yearly, one should perform. In fact, Krishna says, Arjuna tells Krishna, that whole society will be ruined if the offering of Pinda Udaka, Lupta Pindo Udaka Kriya, one stops that. So, of course, generally as Grihasthas, we should perform these duties. Those who are pure devotees of the Lord, of course, they have no duty or obligation to perform. Just by their devotional service, their ancestors are delivered. But generally, as sadhakas, we do not think ourselves so exalted that I don't need to do anything. We should not. If Advaitacharya was doing Shraddha, for the Shraddha he called Haridas Thakur. If Advaitacharya Mahavishnu can do, direct associate of Lord Chaitanya and the Supreme Lord, and Lord Chaitanya didn't stop him, then we should not think we are very smart. Though technically it is correct that those who are pure devotees, they are not obligated to perform material karma duties. Nonetheless, Krishna himself says in the fourth canto of the Bhagavad Gita, even though a person, even though actually on that platform that he has no duty to perform, he still performs the duty just to set an example for others. Okay, so if he can do, he should do. So, I mean, in my own case, I have arranged through a devotee to perform the Shraddha ceremonies for my ancestors tomorrow in Gaya. Gaya is considered the topmost place to perform Shraddha, because the Vishnupad, the footprints of Lord Vishnu are there. It is said by performing Shraddha in Gaya, 100% all the ancestors will be delivered. In fact, Lord Chaitanya had visited Gaya to perform the Shraddha. Lord Chaitanya himself performed Shraddha for his father, departed father. And there in the Vishnupad temple, he met his spiritual master Ishwarapuri and took initiation. Okay, so that's a very, very sacred place. So this is just to let you know. So, should not think ourselves. And this is, of course, a devotee Brahmana performing the rites according to proper Shastric injunction. In that way, the ancestors are also benefited and we are also benefited. So as devotees, we should set proper example of performing our prescribed duties properly, especially for those who are in the Grihastha ashram. Coming back to topic, Shraddha Deva. His name Vaivaswan, son, Shraddha Deva, Vaivasvata, Manvantara, the current Manvantara. Who are the Devatas in the current Manvantara? So these names you'll often hear. The 33 Devatas who received the Yajna sacrifice. Have you heard 33 Devatas? Who are the 33 Devatas? The Adityas, the Vasus, the Rudras, the Vishwadevas, the Maruts, the Ashwini Kumaras, the Ribhus. These are all the various categories of the Devatas who receive the Yajna offering. They are the Devatas. Who are the sons of Manu in our Manvantara? Ikshvaku, Nabhaga, Drishta, Sharyati, Narasyanta, Nabhaga, Dishta, Tarusha, Rishadhra, Vasuman. To be honest, I don't know anything about any of them, but Bhagavatam mentions them, so they must be very great personalities. Who is Indra in the current Manvantara? Who is our current Indra? The current Indra is also a son of Kashyap and Diti, like the other Devatas. He is the eldest son of Kashyap and Diti, and his name is Purandar. Current Indra, his name is Purandar. And who's the Manvantara avatar? Again the son of Kashyap and Diti, the youngest son of Kashyap and Diti, who's known as Vamana, is the Manvantara avatar. That's why Vaman is also known as Upendra. Upendra means younger brother of Indra. He is the Manvantara avatar. He is the youngest of the Adityas. Who are the 7 sages? So this name also we hear often, but these are only 7 sages for this Manvantara. Who are they? Kashyapa, Atri, Vashishta, Vishwamitra, Gautama, Jamadagni and Bharadwaj. These are the Sapta Rishi for this Manvantara. And the activities of Vamana, which are mentioned in this chapter, is this Lord Vamana is the one who took the 3 worlds with 3 Vikrama, 3 steps from Bali Maharaj and gave them to Purandar. So this mention again excited Parikshit Maharaj. Yes, can please elaborate. So after this chapter, next 4 or 5 chapters are discussion of the pastimes of Vamanadev. So after describing the current Manvantara, which is the 7th Manvantara, the next Manvantara is known as Savarani Manvantara. Savarani is also another son of Vivasvan. Vivasvan has sons. Vivasvan has many wives. One is Samjna, one is Chaya. From his wife Samjna, Vivasvan is born. Sorry, Shraddhadev is born. Vivasvan and Samjna have a son called Shraddhadev. He is the current Manu. The next Manu is the son of Vivasvan and Chaya. So in the Savarani Manvantara, which is the 8th Manvantara, next Manvantara, who is going to be Indra? Anyone knows who is going to be Indra?
Bali Maharaj, Prabhuji.
Very good. Thank you. Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj is in wait list. After Vaman Dev in this Manvantara delivered him, he also promised him. For now, also he didn't make him Indra immediately. According to Kala, according to time. You have to wait. I cannot just remove the current Indra and put you Indra. He has his karma also. He has paid for it. He has to be on the job until his term is over. Next, you are in line. Wait. Until then, you go to Sutal, enjoy opulence. I will be your guard at your door, like a watchman. So, right now, Vaman Dev, in his Vaman form, is at his door. To and fro, he's walking and protecting him. Bali Maharaj. So, the next Manvantara, Bali Maharaj will be. What is the activity of Vaman, who's the Manvantara avatar? The Manvantara avatar in the next Manvantara, this one is Vamana. In the next Manvantara, the Lord's incarnation will be known as Sarvabhauma, who's going to be the son of Deva Guhya and Saraswati. The Saraswati is not goddess Saraswati, it's another demi-goddess. Their son will be Sarvabhauma. This Sarvabhauma, who's a partial incarnation of the Lord, his service will be when he becomes Manvantara avatar, he will take the kingdom of Sureshwara, the post of Indra, away from Purandar and give it to Bali. That is his main job. So that is what is mentioned. Then the 9th Manvantara, a son of Varuna Dev, known as Daksha Savarani, he will be the Manu. Each of the Manvantara, there is a mention of the Devatas, the Manuputras, the Sureshwara. I'm not going to read through everything, read through the verses. I just want to mention a few highlights. Otherwise, it will be a very mechanical reading of a table. But I will mention the Indra and I will mention the Manvantara avatar. So, Indra in Daksha Savarani Manvantara, the 9th Manvantara, is Adbhuta, and the Amshavatar Manvantara avatar is Rishabhadev. Then after Daksha Savarani, the next Manvantara is Brahma Savarani. There, Indra is Shambhu, And the Amsha avatar, Manvantara avatar is Vishwaksena. 11th Manvantar, Dharma Savarni. Vaidhrita will be Indra and Dharma Setu will be the Manvantara avatar. Then the next Manvantara, 12th, is Rudra Savarni. Ritadhama will be Sureshwara and Swadhama will be the Manvantara avatar. Then Deva Savarni, 13th Manvantara. Devaspati will be Indra and Yogeshwara will be Manvantara avatar. The last Manvantara, Indra Savarani of this day of Brahma, Suchi will be Indra and Brihad Bhanu will be Manvantara avatar. There's a very brief mention of what each of these Manvantara avatars will do. I'm not going into that because we don't have enough context. For example, very brief mention. For Rishabhadev, what he will do, he will enable Lord Indra to enjoy the three worlds. Now the detail of that pastime is not mentioned. In fact, that pastime hasn't even happened. That pastime is going to happen in the future. It is not elaborated. Vishwaksen, he will make friends with Shambhu, who's the Indra of the Brahma Savarani Manvantara. What is that katha? What does this make friends mean? What had happened and how he helps him? That is not detailed. So like this, there is a brief mention, but I'm not going through it because the whole pastime, at least here in Bhagavad, it is not mentioned. I do not know whether other Puranas detail these stories, but these are stories of the future. These are pastimes which have not yet happened. So Bhagavatam in this chapter is predicting the future. For the next 7 Manvantaras, if you include the current one, 8. Of course, in this Manvantara, the pastime of the Manvantara avatar has already happened. So somewhere in the Manvantara, that pastime will happen, right? It's not that always it has to happen as soon as the Manvantara begins. So this is the universal system. So we understand the scale of the system that the Lord has set up for the universal government. We realize how puny our lives of 70, 80 years are. And then we become so attached to our small little kingdoms, our small little zones of influence, and create so much ruckus and disturbance for others and ourselves and for the devotees around us. So those who are intelligent, they realize the tiny nature. If you simply calculate the number of Manvantara avatars within one day of Brahma, is 14. If you convert that into how many Manvantara avatars are there in the life of Brahma, that is so mind-boggling. In every 12 hours of Brahma, Brahma sees 14 Indras. Can you imagine? Morning you come to work, 9 a.m. Brahmapuri. 9 to 10 a.m., not even 10 a.m., 9 to 9:45, one is Indra, one Indra. Whole schedule, one full Manvantar is over. 9:45, you go for herbal tea drink, come back, another Manvantara avatar, another Indra, another set of rishis sitting there, coming with their own set of problems. 9:45 to 10:30, another Manvantara has started. So by the time 6 p.m., okay, I am retiring. The day is over. 14 Manus are done. Can you imagine what is the scale? And like that, our Brahmanda of the four-headed Brahma is a very tiny, insignificant Brahmanda. What Krishna is saying. There are other universes which are billions of times bigger. And all of this is created in one breath of Mahavishnu. And we think our problems are so big. Our means, Prabhu, I didn't get my promotion. Prabhu, this happened. Prabhu, that happened. This person said this to me. when we, why these big things are mentioned, then we realize the scale of time, the scale of the universe, and then we realize, oh God, I'm so tiny and insignificant in the big scheme of things. The only thing that really matters is, am I purifying myself and developing love for the Lord? Can I please keep aside all other unnecessary activities of fixing the world? Huh? There is Manvantara avatars, Devatas, Saptarishis to do that job. Can I please fix only myself? And those whom I am directly responsible for, as a husband, as a teacher, let's not unnecessarily try to be heroes. Let's try to be good servants of the Supreme Personality. So when we discuss about these things, we realize the reason Prabhupada and the other acharyas explain why we are discussing these big things. What is the point? Our life is so small. Yes, precisely for this reason, we want to realize our insignificance, not give ourselves too much importance, and focus in our lives on those things which are worth focusing on, which is purify my heart, develop love for the Lord, and expect the mercy that somehow I will wrap this up and go back to God. So that brings us to the end of this particular chapter, and we'll continue the 8th canto further. The 8th canto hasn't ended. Before we go to questions, the next chapter is about the universal system of management. It explains again in a bit more detail the 6 categories of administrators. Then the duties of the Manu are explained in the following chapters. Then the pastime of Bali Maharaj and Vaman Dev will start. Many chapters that will go on. And then towards the end of the 8th canto, the Matsya avatar is explained. Matsya appeared twice. At the beginning of the day of Brahma in the Swayambhuva Manvantara for one purpose. We'll go into that later. And one more time in the Chakshusha Manvantara. Chakshusha is 6th Manvantara, the one previous to us. He also appeared once. So that pastime is a little out of sequence, but comes towards the end of the 8th canto. So next 2 chapters are more administrative, managerial setup and duties. Then we go into the pastime of Bali and Vamana, which is also so very beautiful in terms of lessons for us. And then the pastime of Vamana. Yes, Suresh Prabhu. Right.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. One general question, Prabhu. See, this Manvantara avatar like Indra, like Bali Maharaj is in the waiting list or he'll take a different birth and come back?
No, not different birth. He's simply in a waiting list.
Okay. Yeah. The second one, general Prabhu. You're telling about Gaya Shraddha Prabhu, right? So the physical presence is not required there.
It is best if he can go, but in the Vedic system, there is the concept of a Yajman appointing a Ritvik to perform a sacrifice. So the Purohit can perform a ritual on behalf of the Yajman if he's been so instructed by the Yajman. Yeah.
And how is this different, Prabhu? Like for temple, we are giving donation at ISKCON. They also do Pitru Praksha, right? I mean, they do offering prayers on our ancestors.
Yeah, so
Not
there are
in deep.
various kinds of activities we can dedicate to the benefit of the departed. So any spiritual activity can be dedicated to the benefit of the departed, and that is also of spiritual benefit to the departed. For example, some people feed cows, some people will feed prasad to devotees, some people will, and they dedicate the spiritual results of those activities to their ancestors. So that is there. That's a spiritual dedication. That kind of dedication one can do any day, any time. Shraddha time also is good. But then there is a recommended ritual as per the Karma Kanda, which is specifically a technique to ensure that through the process of Pinda Udaka offering, Actually, that ritual is also spiritual when properly understood, because the pinda is offered to Vishnu and then Vishnu Prasad is offered to the ancestors. So in that particular form, when done, because that technology is done in such a way that the result not only spiritually but even materially is immediately beneficial to the deceased, especially if they are trapped. You understand? Different things have different benefit. Correct, Prabhu? For example, I want to help you. Okay. Let's say you are sick. Let's say, I hope you are always remain healthy, but let's say you have a little fever. I can help you by giving you a Krishna book to read. Also wonderful. I can help you by giving you a paracetamol to cure your fever. Both are helping you. But for your specific disease, it's not that by reading Krishna book your fever will go. It will help you to spiritually advance. But certain conditions require certain handling. Understand? So rituals are designed specifically to fix or achieve certain objectives. So we cannot expect that always we come up with some mechanism which we think is of benefit to the others. Yes, there may be benefit, but it may not necessarily fix that very specific problem. May or may not, depends.
So, Prabhu, yeah. So another two small question, Prabhu.
Hmm.
So, Prabhu, this whatever Pinda Darpan, whatever Pitta Darpan we are doing, right? That is still only till the time they are in this transition phase. After that, still it required.
It goes to the Pitris. So Pitris is the category of Devatas.
Okay.
So they will ensure that how exactly that system is set up, how it is distributed. That's the detailed technology is not given, correct? Just like we are here all on Zoom together, 20 odd of us. How exactly the packets are flowing and the images coming, how I am seeing Suraj on this here, and from where all the network packets traversed, I have no idea. That I don't need to know.
Okay.
So how exactly it's managed is difficult to say. But if somebody has already been reborn, does it reach him? Does it benefit him?
That is my
One
doubt,
thing,
Prabhu.
yeah. So the general understanding is yes, it will benefit. Yeah, it is especially benefit those who are in the Pitrulok or those who are trapped. But whatever we offer, especially see, when we worship Pitris, we are not just worshipping our ancestors, but we are worshipping the Pitri Devatas
Mm.
who reside in Pitri Loka. There is a class of deities who represent the ancestors.
Okay. So
That
okay.
department comes under Yamaraj. Pitris. So it's homework for you. Find out who's the head of the Pitris. Which Devata.
Aryama.
Ah,
Aryama.
correct. Yeah, you already know. So Aryam is the head of the Pitris. Correct?
Okay.
So what they do is you pay your tax there. They will manage for you how your ancestors are taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? Correct. So let's say one ancestor is booked. You go and pay the fine to Aryama. Aryama will take care of it. How exactly he manages, how he dispatches, what he does is not your problem.
Mm-hmm.
So the Vedas basically say, you go here, this department, this Devata, this is how you pay, this kind of tax you pay. That's why I'm saying, if you do other spiritual rituals for the benefit of your ancestors, the benefit being spiritual will still result in spiritual benefit for that individual. But whether it will exactly have the same effect as paying tax to Aryama, that is the question we should ask, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this whole system is set up by the Supreme Lord. So we should not think we are smarter than the Supreme Lord. Yes, those who are pure devotees, oftentimes when Prabhupada uses the word devotee, devotee means pure devotee. I was just reading Tattva Sandarbha by Jiva Goswami. Very nice book. One day we'll discuss that after we complete Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna willing, discuss the Shat Sandarbhas. So I'm almost completing, maybe by tomorrow I'll complete Tattva Sandarbha. So in the Tattva Sandarbha, Shiva Goswami in one of the Anuched, he says very clearly in one of the verses, says, Bhakti, the word Bhakti which is used in this verse of the Bhagavatam is referring to pure Bhakti. When Bhakti is used, it is referring to the stage of Prema. It is not referring to Sadhana Bhakti. So sometimes we simply apply Bhakti. I am doing Bhakti. I am a Bhakta. So everything which is described as the benefit of the Bhakta or not applicable to the Bhakta is applicable to me. Correct? Just by being a student of the university, you don't get the same privilege of being a graduate. You have to actually graduate.
Hmm.
You understand? Correct? So yes, devotees are exempt. Krishna himself says, right? Those who are transcended matter and become perfect, they have no duties to perform. Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita. But he's saying for those who have transcended, the question is, have we transcended? Yes, simply by being a devotee, even in the sadhana stage, our ancestors are benefited. But does it immediately absolve us of all our karmic duties, which are our prescribed duties towards various aspects of our lives immediately, even in the stage of sadhana?
Yeah.
You understand? Correct? Yeah. So what applies for a bhakta? The bhakta means a pure devotee, one who has developed love for the Supreme God. Satam, what is that verse? Satam prasanga mama virya samvido bhavanti ritkarna rasayana katha tajjoshanaadhi apavarga vartmani shraddha rati bhaktir anukramishyati. I think Jiva Goswami speaks with respect to this verse only. This is from the first canto. What it means is a very interesting point. Just allow me a few minutes. If somebody wants to drop off, they can drop off. Just want to take a couple of minutes. When we hear the Bhagavatam in the association of devotees, sincere devotees, it's not talking about necessarily fully purified souls. Satam. Sata means broader category of devotees. Will include various categories. Kanishtas, Madhyamas, Uttamas, or mix. Satam prasanga mama virya samvido bhavanti ritkarna rasayana katha. And you hear, oh, it is so pleasing to the ears and the heart. That joshanadhi apavarga vartman. In that way, one progresses on the path of liberation. And gradually, anukramishati. Anukrama means in this sequence, one goes. What is the sequence? Shraddha. First one develops faith. Now many people say, oh Prabhu, I have faith, I have faith. This faith is talking about firm faith, not Komala Shraddha. It is talking about Dridha Shraddha. What is Dridha Shraddha? Dridha Shraddha is the standard of an Uttam Adhikari. One who is firmly fixed, at least Nishtha, firmly fixed, firm faith in pure devotional service. Shraddha, strong faith. Rati. And then finally Bhakti. Shraddha, Rati, Bhaktir Anukramisha. Rati refers to the stage of Bhava Bhakti. Sadhana Bhakti, Shraddha. Rati, Bhava Bhakti. And Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. Bhagavatam refers to Bhakti as Prema Bhakti. So everywhere Krishna says, oh, Bhakta is not needing to do this, Bhakta is like this, Bhakta is transcendental. Immediately we say, oh, it's all my decorations. Bhakta, we think, we are that wonderful personality. No, we are on the path to become that wonderful personality. But Anukramishati, as we continue on the path, gradually we will come from Komala Shraddha to firm Shraddha. First of all, we have to ask, have I even come that far? then to intense attachment and come to bhava, then go to true bhakti, which is prema bhakti. Correct? So I'm just trying to put into perspective. So the safest path is what Krishna has given in the Bhagavad Gita. Even to Arjuna, who's actually a pure devotee, says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. Arjuna wanted to give up his duties and run away. He said, no. Until you are liberated, you cannot run away. Even though you are my devotee, so to say, in a generic sense, perform your duty, do it for me. Of course, Arjuna is a premi bhakta already, but he is playing the role of a samsari person. So Krishna has instructed him like that to set the right example for everyone, for us. And Krishna says, even though I don't have any duty, even then I also perform duty. If I don't perform, the whole world will be with great disturbance because everyone will follow my example.
Yeah.
So while we are not interested in generally doing Devata worship and all those things, those are not essential for us to perform other kinds of karma kanda. There are certain obligatory duties, samskaras, tarpan, generally performance of yajna, dana, tapa within the principles of Krishna consciousness as guided by our acharyas. So we see the standards that our acharyas have followed, and we don't try to become smarter than them.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Prabhu, this Gaya Shraddha is just one time or we need to subsequently do?
The duty expectation is every year one must do. I did last year also, this year also. But the point is, Gaya is so powerful. It is said once you do, all your ancestors are delivered just by performing Shraddha once.
Okay. Yeah.
But the general expectation is our duty is to keep performing.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we have to also understand another, just a quick point. Even when rituals of prescribed duties, if they are performed with the right understanding and intelligence as these duties, Krishna explains this in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Prescribed duties come from Vedas. Vedas come from the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yadne pratishtam. That is why the all-pervading transcendence Vishnu is always present within the prescribed duties. If you are not performing your prescribed duties simply for your sense, for your personal gain, but you are performing them as a yajna for pleasing Vishnu, then it is also devotional service. May not be directly on the level of bhakti proper, but at least at the level of Nishkam Karma Yoga, which is just a precursor to bhakti. So when we perform it, we don't see it as a material ritual. That is also a deeper understanding that we as Vaishnavas must have. Because prescribed duties come from Vedas. This is 3rd chapter. Please find out the verses. Absolutely. Gita is very, very clear in this regard.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Sini Mataji, you have a question? Sorry if you're not too late for you. I am okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I want to ask about this Manvandara. How does one Manvandara end and the other Manvandara, next one, begin?
So typically, I don't know the details right now on top of my head, but there are different levels of dissolutions that happen at the end of Kali Yuga. There's a particular kind of dissolution, a higher one at the end of Manvantara, a higher one at the end of a day of Brahma, and the highest one at the end of the lifetime of Brahma. So end of Manvantara, actually on top of my head, I do not remember or recollect, but the scale increases as one goes higher and higher. But we can try to find that out. Let me see if I can find out. For example, at the end of day of Brahma, for example, not Manvantara, when 14 Manvantaras end, when Brahma's night comes, when Brahma sleeps, water, Garbhoda Koshan fills up, Bhur Bhuva Swaha, all the way. First they are burnt by fire, and then there is, I think, water, something like that. Maybe I may be slightly wrong, I don't recollect. But essentially, only the higher planets remain. In fact, it is said even the Janar Lok is so troubled by all this devastation waters that people from Janar Lok jump to higher planets temporarily during the night of Brahma, something like that. So that's the scale of destruction at the night of Brahma. So Manvantar is lesser, and end of Kali Yuga maybe a scale lower. The Chatur Yugas that we experience, the Satya Trita Dwapar Kali, is experienced only on earth. The higher planets do not experience variations of Satya Trita Dwapar Kali. They are situated in a situation of somewhat like a Satya Treta kind of an environment all throughout. Of course, when Kali Yuga comes on earth, the Devatas become very disappointed. Why? Because nobody is offering Yajna. They are not getting their tax. Nobody worshipping, nobody giving tax, because they get nourished through the Yajna performance. But directly Kali Yuga doesn't affect the higher planets. Okay? So that's how it is. Okay, so but I don't remember specifically the Manvantara and what is the nature of the transition. We need to find that. But I don't think it is something very far out. Because definitely, for example, Bali Maharaj is currently in Sutal planet. He is there in his body, self-same body, he is going to be made Indra. So obviously it doesn't seem to be too far out. But how exactly transitions, yeah, that's an interesting question. We need to research that a bit.
It's not covered in Bhagavatam, isn't it, Prabhuji?
I haven't come across, but let me check. I'll try to find the answer and let you all know. So there are always higher people to go to if you don't know answers. So our connections are all the way up. It's not a problem. We'll find out.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Madhu. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, so Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Sorry, Suraj, you wanted to say something?
When CC classes are getting resumed, Prabhu?
I was thinking of starting from this Tuesday.
Okay,
And?
because
two people asked me today, and yesterday only I was thinking of starting.
no, whenever I read that book, I think of asking you that same
No, I
question.
am telling you coincidence. So I am just taking this as Krishna's inspiration. Yesterday and day before I was thinking of starting. Today morning Amit Prabhu asked me. Today evening you are asking me. So I am just thinking it is Krishna's desire.
Okay.
Sometimes Krishna gives hint through various things and he indicates now it's time. Is it okay? We can start from Tuesday. Whoever can come. Again, as you know, I don't force anybody. At least by listening, even if we are busy, if it's even playing in the background as we are going about doing our things, we listen, then in that way we will get Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are very attractive. They are so relevant to us, as we discussed multiple times. His mercy is what will save us. Thank you. So many of you have put a thumbs up. So whoever can join. Yeah. So Tuesday 9 p.m. Thank you everyone. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Swami Guru Bhakta.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vinod Prabhu, Haribol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Amit,
Thank you,
Prabhu.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Sridhar
Hare
Prabhu,
Krishna,
Sarva
Prabhuji,
Lakshmi
Namaskaram.
Mataji. Virendra Ram Prabhu, Dandavat, Sri Devi ji, Sneha ji, Sujil Sundar, Sachi Prema Mataji. Thank you all.
Hare
And
Krishna and
Suraj and
thank you,
Shalini,
Prabhuji.
always. Sachi Prema, thank you, Mataji. Hari Hari. So I'll see you on next Saturday. Sorry, on Tuesday.